In this tutorial, I show you how to create this coin without modeling all the tiny details. Instead of sculpting everything, we'll use displacement to build the skull design, and I'll also show you how to create a gold material for this fantasy coin. So let's jump into Maya. First, add a cylinder, press R and scale it up. Scale it from the side to make it larger. Switch to face mode and enable symmetry on the y-axis. Suppose the top and bottom are selected at the same time. While holding Ctrl, right-click, go to Faces, and then choose UV Shell. Now press Ctrl E and add a bit of offset. Press Ctrl E again and reduce the thickness slightly. Just a very small amount is enough. Next, go to the UV menu and apply a planar projection from the y-axis. Now switch to edge mode and select the edges where you want to make the cut. It's better to cut from this area because this way, if later we want the edge of the coin to have a physical indentation, it will work correctly. Otherwise, the shell will split properly from that area. You'll understand this better later when we start applying the displacement. Now go back to the UV menu and open the UV editor. First cut, select the shells and unfold them. Then in arrange and layout, click orientation. Scale it down so it sits in the center of the UV space. By enabling this square checker, we can check whether the UVs are laid out correctly or not. Now take a screenshot of the UVs. Next, let's open Photoshop to create our displacement map. When creating the displacement file, make sure to create a square image and place your UVs inside it. Try to keep the UV shell roughly centered so the square UV frame matches the square image canvas. Now place and draw the image you want to appear on the coin based on where the faces are positioned. You can either draw it yourself or search online and use a high quality vector image. As you can see in the strip around the edge at the bottom of the UV, I added a few dots. This will later become the indentation on the edge of the coin. Well, we don't need the UV layer anymore, so we can delete it. Finally, save the file in OpenEXR format. Pick the last one, 32 bits, and save it. Let's go back to Maya. Select all the edges around the coin. If you hit a 3 key, as you can see, the shape is very soft and doesn't feel like a metal at all. So we need to add more edges. Press Ctrl B, set the segment to number 2 and reduce the fraction slightly. We want sharp edges. Next, go to Attribute Editor, enable Redshift Tessellation, and also enable Displacement below it. Then from the Create menu, in Camera section, add a camera. In the panel, select that camera if one of the viewports. Enable Gate Mask. Well, our frame is rectangular in the viewport, so we should be change it to a square. Now open the render setting window. First set the render engine to redshift. Then at the bottom of the window, under resolution, select one square so our frame is a square now. From the output section, change the passes. It's too high, so it takes a long time to render. Reduce it a lot, like 120. Now for the light source, go to the redshift menu. In light section, add a dome light. Click on the icon for the dome map and assign an HDR image to it. Well, now open render view and in the render section, choose your camera. This is the image of your HDR. In the attribute editor, under the environment section, disable the background. Open the Hypershade window in Redshift section. Pick a Redshift material and select your object, then assign the material to it. Right-click in the empty space, choose Create Node, and search for a displacement. Select Redshift Displacement. Now in the texture map, assign the file we created earlier by importing it into the image slot. Finally, connect the displacement node to the shaders SG. You just need to drag the displacement node here. Now you can see that our main design is popping out. If you look closely, the edges have a little roughness. To reduce this roughness, go to tessellation and set edge length to 0. You'll see that the roughness is almost gone. If you want it even smoother, or if your displacement still has rough areas, another way effective setting is to increase the maximum subdivision slightly. I think we should increase the thickness a bit to give it a more fantasy feel, like the concept. For the check of our displacement, create another camera, adjust it in the other viewport so it faces to the other side of the coin. Well, take a render. It looks correct. If you notice any part is not right, one side seems pushed in or out, go to Mesh Component Display and check the normals. The green lines show the direction of the normals. They should point outward on all sides. At the bottom, if you increase these numbers, the green lines get longer, making it easier to see the normal direction. Now in the displacement setting, you can increase the height of the design. In here in the scale part, or even enter a negative value to make it recess. Next, let's move on to creating the fantasy gold material. First, for the diffuse, we will give it a yellow color, slightly leaning toward orange, similar to the palette of the concept. reduce the weight. If you wanted to create a realistic gold, the diffuse would actually be 0. But since we want a fantasy style coin, we still need some diffuse. Next, in the reflection section, set a reflection color to orange red. Add another light source so we can see the material better. Go again to Redshift menu. In Light section, pick Redshift Physical Light. Adjust its direction so the reflection is similar to the one in the reference coin, and there is a rectangular reflection. Its intensity is very high, so reduce it a lot. Of course, it won't be exactly like the reference because the reference is painted and its lighting logic is different. See inside the eyes in the reference completely red, and it seems that the light had no effect on these areas. We're just taking inspiration for color and lighting of the reference. Next, set BRDF to GGX, which works great for gold and metals. Set Fresnel type to metalness and increase the metalness slightly, but not fully 1 because this is not real gold. As you can see, the reflections are too uniform and smooth, which looks a bit artificial. So we add a bit of roughness. Click the small square next to it and add a noise node to the roughness. In the noise node, reduce the amplitude, adjust it until it looks good. Now some parts are spread out in reflection and some parts remain smooth. Well, it's worked well, and that's our gold material. Next, let's move on to the lighting and work a bit on the scene illumination. Add another physical light. Put it on the back of the coin. Add another light. Position it under the coin. And tint it slightly pinkish white. It's also better to adjust the backlight color. Let's use a lemon yellow. Duplicate the backlight, scale it down and set it to white. Make it closer to the coin. Now it's a good idea to create a background. Add a cube, scale it up so a coin fits inside it. Remove the part set in front of the camera. Make sure to turn off symmetry because we only want to delete the front face. Enable tessellation. Well, the background is too bright, so we need to separate our light from the background. First, switch to the rendering mode. Select the bottom pink light and also select the background object, the cube. Go to Lighting and Shading menu. Break light links. Well, adjust the background color. Let's use a purplish tone. I choose this color for a background to create strong contrast with the gold coin, making it stand out instantly. Purple also adds a sense of mystery, depth, and also fantasy feel without distracting from the main object. Also change the front coin lighting to the slightly warm tones, slightly tinted toward warm tones. In general, in the image, avoid using pure white or pure black unless there is a specific reason. Even in reality, the white reflects the surrounding colors and the black isn't completely pure either. I think this subtle color mix makes the render more interesting. The subtle red glow adds warmth and depth, preventing the gold from looking flat. Physically, red introduces a hint of danger or tension, which reinforces the skull symbol and makes the coin feel more dramatic and high value, high risk. And that's our fantasy coin. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you like it, don't forget to like and subscribe.